Today we're joined by Gene Beaupre, who's instructor of political science here at Xavier and director of government relations. Thank you for joining us, Gene.
My pleasure.
The reason we're looking to talk to you here today is the midterm elections. They're upon us.
They are.
You're our area expert here. Seems like they're traditionally low-key, low-turnout events. Not this year. Why is that?
Not this year. I think two reasons. One, on the national level, I think that it's the old story of don't get cut when you're swimming with sharks. And I think the Republicans feel like Obama is, bleeding a little bit. And so, and the Congress, probably more importantly, the Congress is. And you can look at the survey numbers and see that. So the Republicans see an opportunity to, and they're two things. They're pumping money into it, which they can do now because of the Supreme Court decision that takes away the limits on the amount of spending, and because they think that there are. I just heard the other day that many people consider there's 100 vulnerable seats in the U.S. Congress this year. So it's a fight all across the country.
It's going to change the political landscape.
I don't think there's any question about that. And then on the state level, I think it will because, as I say, many voters don't realize this, but whoever wins some key executive positions in the House and Senate in the State House will control what's called the apportionment board, and they will redraw the district lines around the state, the political district lines around the state that will essentially give an advantage to one party or the other for the next decade or more.
Okay. Every time I walk down the street, it seems like somebody's inviting me to a tea party.
Well, are you going?
Tell me what is it all about? Is it the same group, who are always upset with the government and just with a little bit of better branding, or are they different people? Who are these people?
I imagine that it is some of the same people who maybe have had voices before, but there have been more voices joining them, and I think some of those voices are people who are in traditional parties, particularly the Republican Party. But there seems to be this party, if it's a party and if it's a movement, it's caught on because they are able to capture slogans and an emotion. The slogans are fit on a yard sign or fit on a placard. And they're striking an emotion in a number of people. And the Republican Party in particular is trying to embrace as many of those people as possible. So, they're going to have some impact on the election. At least they'll have an impact on the way certain candidates talk when they campaign.
More money being pumped into it, bigger election. What else has changed? Anything else new or different this time around?
I think the biggest thing, this started with Howard Dean when he went on the internet. He was the first one to venture on there, and bingo, he did what every politician wants to do, which he raised a ton of money with very little effort. And all of a sudden people started paying attention to it. And now in really a few short years, and coming in with the Obama campaign, it's gone from not just the internet, but texting and Facebook and Twitter. And what that's done is it's given campaigns greater access to targeted voters and in multiple ways. So you may recall that when Obama was announcing Biden as the vice presidential candidate, people who were on his list got text on their BlackBerry. I mean, that made you feel like you were inside. And that's the irony of technology, I think. On the one hand, it seems very cold. On the other hand, it can be very personal. And campaigns are all about targeting their message to likely voters that are the base and swing of their candidate.
So when these people knock on my door, they know who I am.
They know who you are. They know how you voted. I don't mean they know that you voted a particular candidate, but they often know which elections you voted in. They know whether you voted Democrat or Republican in Ohio if you took a primary ballot. And now they're not doing it so much this year. But what happens is they merge those voting lists with lists that they buy. It may be a list of how much money you spend on different things. Maybe your American Express list. It's those kinds of things to get a profile of you, find out what you care about, and try and direct a message, again in a very personal way, a message to you that they think resonates with your behavior.
Let's talk about Xavier students. I know in the past you've been at the Board of Elections and on election nights. You're going to be there again this year?
We'll be there. We'll be there with bells on. We focused on the 1st Congressional District of Ohio, the Shabbat-Driehaus race, hot race nationally, and the students can, over the course of the evening, tell you at any given moment when the results come in who's ahead. And that's something that probably nobody else in that room can do, because these students have crunched those numbers. Listen, I beat them like a rented mule. They've crunched those numbers until they, really know them. And it's a wonderful experience for them, because having worked for many weeks now, they sit there on election night and they watch the results come in. And, they see a winner and a loser. It's great.
Great educational opportunity.
It's wonderful.